Hello, friends. I recently came across an Instagram post that talked about the benefits of the program Adult Children of Alcoholics, ACA. I hadn't been familiar with it, but I had heard about it before, and I had spent a few years very involved with Al-Anon. And there were so many really, really important things that I learned from Al-Anon, but there was also this like weird hierarchical dogma thing where like a sponsor was really controlling with me, which really triggered my like came out of evangelical Christianity, do not need more rules part of me. Um, and so I am always hesitant about these things, but I will say that the most wonderful part of any 12-step program, and ACA included, is what this person was commenting on, is that it's free and that they tend to be like have some really good ideas in them, especially around codependency. And they are a resource that's available every day of the week, really at most hours of the day, and especially post COVID, because there's now, online groups all over the world and for people who are in crisis or in distress, or people who just can't afford therapy or connect with therapy for whatever reason, they can be an amazing resource for self help and personal development and for connecting in honesty and vulnerability about what's really going on with you, and beginning to understand that, like, it's not you, it's your programming, right? That, like, we end up with dysfunctional things in our life, habits and behaviors because we learned them from someone. And so they are an excellent resource for that. And it was resonant for me. My therapist has been out of town for 2 weeks and one more week. And I really love therapy and I get a lot out of it. And in the absence of that, it's been noticeable. Just the absence of being able to like tell someone what's going on in my life and have them be really loving and compassionate. Um, and, talking to friends is different than going to therapy. And so if you're someone who has that experience of like I need to be understood and I need to be received lovingly and I need to be able to say anything that I want to say and have like someone, have that what do they call it? Like unconditional positive regard is what therapists offer their clients. It's like just say love, right? But anyway, so I was like, yeah, dog, like thanks for reminding me that 12-step groups are there, that they're so helpful if you need them, that like you can take what you like and leave the rest. If you don't like all the dogma and don't want the sponsor and the pushiness and the hierarchy, you don't have to. If you want to only go when you want to go, if you want to just go and watch, like that's all available and it can still be a really nice like way to have connection and support when you're in distress or when you can't access therapy. Um, so I was really happy to be reminded of that. And then I looked a little bit more into ACA because there was a bunch of people, both the person who posted it and I'll see if I can find the original post. Um, both the person who posted it and a lot of the comments were talking about how Al-Anon was harder for them than ACA, and that ACA like ties in very well with internal family systems therapy, which is something that I'm a huge fan of, because it holds the structure that like you are becoming your own gentle parent after having like parents who weren't able to offer that to you. And it's not so much about alcohol, it's more about having a dysfunctional childhood. And so I wanted to learn a little bit more about it. And I came across this thing called the laundry list, which was kind of hard. It's like a list of characteristics that people have coming out of dysfunctional homes. It's a little aggressive, a little harsh. Didn't love it. But then I found the like flip side of the laundry list, and it actually is super resonance with some ideas I have around radical autonomy and interdependence, which are similar to some of the ideas that are shared by Jessa Reed in her Interdependence Bill of Rights. So I thought I would share it. I will put the link to it in the the what's it called? Description. And I thought I would just go through a few of these because I think they're really interesting. So it's from ACA, like I said, the flip side of the laundry list. So notice if these sound like things that you don't have in your life that you might really love to have in your life, or things that you don't have in your life that you maybe didn't even know were possible, that you weren't even allowed to have these things, maybe. I really like one of the things that I learned. I did go to an ACA meeting yesterday just to check it out, and they said, don't talk, don't trust, don't feel are the three rules of a dysfunctional household. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that is so real. And that is what the nervous system work is about. It's about giving ourselves permission and experience with talking, trusting, and feeling. Um, so I think it's potentially really beautiful. I'm going to keep checking it out. I'm going to go to more meetings. I ordered some books to learn more about it, but I wanted to share these. So number one, we move out of isolation and are not unrealistically afraid of other people, even authority figures. So, if you're anything like me, you may have the experience of being like, anybody is super dangerous. And if they're in any form of authority, like I can't handle it. Like even if they were like, "Hey, Yazid, you are the most amazing, incredible person, and I love you so much," I'd be like, "I'm so sorry," right? And I would tell someone else, they really hate me. Like I remember my parents came to my graduation from grad school, and I had been telling them, like, these professors hate me. They think I am from the pit of hell and I'm the worst person and they're not going to let me graduate. And then at graduation, all of these professors came up to my parents and were like, oh my gosh, Kazika is amazing. Like, so, such a great student, like, gonna be such a great person out in the world. And I was like, what? I think there was also a bit of gaslighting happening, but but regardless, I had an unrealistic fear of authority figures and other people in general. We do not depend on others to tell us who we are. Wow, right? If we are not depending on others to tell us who we are, what radical freedom. I definitely, for most of my life, was waiting for others to tell me if I was okay or not. Yeah, huge. We are not automatically frightened by angry people and no longer regard personal criticism as a threat. I have to tell you, I'm not there yet, right? Angry people still scare me, and personal criticism feels extremely threatening, but cool to think about. What would it be like to consider that I don't necessarily need to be afraid of angry people? I could let angry people be angry, and I could let people criticize me, and I could still feel like I'm okay. We do not have a compulsive need to recreate abandonment. Yeah, boy, that's a doozy, right? To like push people away so that it's just like done and you don't have to be waiting for them to push you away. Yeah, recreate abandonment. We stop living life from the standpoint of victims and are not attracted by this trait in our important relationships. Yeah, I can't tell you how many people are like, and I used to be all the time, everyone around me such a victim. And it's like, well, yeah, they're mirroring me. I am of that standpoint. And so I'm going to end up connecting with people who are of that standpoint. We do not use enabling as a way to avoid looking at our own shortcomings. Yeah, enabling is something that I don't think most people understand how enabling we can be. Ugh, when we try to calm down the people around us or keep them happy doing things that aren't working just so that we don't have to look at what is scary or stressful for us. Yeah. We do not feel guilty when we stand up for ourselves. Oh, yeah, that's major. Um, we avoid, I just have to mention, I'm reading this book called The Guilt Pill right now, and it's about this woman who created a pill that makes guilt go away. It's fiction. Um, for like working moms. It's fascinating. It's so I mean it's a little heartbreaking that like that is such a pervasive thing that we have so much guilt. Okay, we avoid emotional intoxication and choose workable relationships instead of constant upset. Oh my gosh, emotional intoxication. What a great phrase for the chemical dependency on fight, flight, freeze chemicals. That defense state can be addictive, and it's something that takes a lot of willingness and support to get out of our system. Yeah, it's a major one. We are able to distinguish love from pity and do not think rescuing people we pity is an act of love. Yeah, 2000% this one was majorly me. I only had relationships with people who pitied me. I thought that was what love was. I thought if I'm a wreck and they feel bad for me and help me, then they love me. It turns out that is not what love is. And trying to rescue people that I felt bad for, I thought that was also love. Turns out it's not. I'm still not totally clear on what love is. I was asking my kid the other day, like, what does that actually mean when we say I love you? I don't know what that means. Um, but pity is really clear to me now that it is not love. Yeah. And it's not intimacy. Okay, we come out of denial about our traumatic childhoods and regain the ability to feel and express our emotions. Yeah, I feel like this one is a slow unraveling for me that I'm like, oh yeah, okay, there was a lot going on there. And feeling it takes a lot of capacity. Um, and slowly, I'm feeling more of it and expressing, that's why I so appreciate my therapist. Um, and and groups like this that open up for people to feel and express their emotions. We stop judging and condemning ourselves and discover a sense of self-worth. Yeah, really powerful. And what's really just amazing is that the less you judge yourself, the less you end up judging and condemning others. And that's, a piece of the nervous system work that I always talk about that I'm so grateful for is like, oh my gosh, it's not me, it's my nervous system. It's not you, it's your nervous system. You were scared. You weren't mean. It's not your character, it's your capacity, however you want to say it. We grow in independence and are no longer terrified of abandonment. We have interdependent relationships with healthy people, not dependent relationships with people who are emotionally unavailable. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And healthy people, I think, is a confusing phrase. I think the word healthy is a confusing word. Healthy people still have issues, problems, fears, anxiety. Um, I like the word safe enough instead of healthy, because healthy has so much bias and ableism and weird shit around it. Um, but safe enough people. So it's like all of us have fears and all of us have capacity for harm, and and we can still be safe enough. The characteristics of alcoholism and para-alcoholism, that's their word for like partners of alcoholics or close people who have close relationships with alcoholics. Um, yeah. The characteristics of alcoholism and para-alcoholism we have internalized are identified, acknowledged, and removed. So that one's a little bit like severe for me. The removed part doesn't resonate. Like I'm an IFS person who's like, I want everybody to stay with me, like even the alcoholic characteristics and the para-alcoholic characteristics, I want to love and have compassion and care for. So I would say identified, acknowledged, and cared for. Um, and then we are actors, not reactors. So this one also, that's a little harsh for my taste. It doesn't hold in it a recognition that reaction is a uh, a design, a function that is designed into the nervous system. Reactivity is very helpful and wise, and also autonomic. So reactivity is something that we can't eliminate from our life, but it is something that can give us really helpful information. So when I see myself reacting, um, I can know that I'm afraid of something, and I want to take really good care of myself when I feel afraid. Um, and I can apologize for anything I've done out of reactivity, acknowledging that I don't need to feel actually guilty or ashamed about it. I can just say, it looks like I wasn't feeling safe, and I'm sorry that I hurt you while I wasn't feeling safe. So for me, I would say instead of we are actors, not reactors, I would say we are loving, um, a loving presence for all of what comes up in our behavior, acknowledging that any reactivity is an indication that we were feeling scared, and any ability to respond is just an indication that we were feeling safe enough. Okay, so I'll put this in, I think that's the last one. Yep. I'll put this in the description. I think it's interesting. Check out groups like this if it feels interesting to you, or if you're a person who's like feeling really lonely, feeling really overwhelmed, feeling like you'd like some therapy, but you can't access it for any reason. They have 12-step meetings in like every category of anything, whether it's codependency or alcohol use or one sec, friend or family member of someone who uses substance, shopping, drugs, food, debt, gambling. They have millions upon millions of them, and not millions, but they have lots. And then ACA is just like, did you have a hard time as a kid? Like, yeah, I think all of us could answer that question, yes. Um, and their meetings online, over the phone. You can, if it's a Zoom meeting, you can keep your camera off in most of them. You don't have to ever say anything. It's always free. They do ask for a donation. Usually it's like $2, and you do not have to give it. You can go to them. I live in Massachusetts. I can go to one in New York City or Singapore or Sweden. Um, and there's one at every hour of every day if you're creative and you look around. So check it out. It sounds interesting. I'll put a link to the ACA website where you can find a meeting. And then if you're interested in other 12 steps groups, you can just Google like 12 steps and what are the various 12 step groups, and then like find one that works for your schedule. It doesn't have to be in your area. And I will say, I love going to meetings in New York City online, because I find that there's enough like diversity in New York City. They do have like identity group type meetings for most of these things. Like you can find like a people of color or BIPOC groups, or you can find women only groups, you can find trans groups or LGBTQIA plus groups, or adult children of alcoholics, or like there's like a lot of those kind of options if that feels right for you. And yeah, in my experience, like if I go to New York City ones, there's enough diversity in New York City that I can feel pretty comfortable usually. There's always going to be weird, stuff going on in every group. So take what you like and leave the rest, and know that it's definitely like there's still going to be funkiness, because like I said in another recent video, um, to have somebody be like unconditionally loving is unrealistic if they have a nervous system, because their fear is gonna lead them to fight, flight, freeze, just like it does for all of us. Okay, I love you so much. Bye.